Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We have CPI inflation data coming out within 4 minutes, which is super exciting. Oh boy, because this is probably the biggest debate that is happening in our markets right now. What the heck are we going to have? Are we going to have inflation or are we not going to have inflation? That's the big debate. We're going to have hyperinflation, or are we going to be sitting around that 2% number? Are we going to see deflation? It makes sense. We've got a big debate around this. I'm excited to see what happens today. We have our June data coming out right now. We're expecting a big inflection point sometime around September, October with inflation data. And then next year, of course, we might even start seeing deflation, potentially, or not, or we'll see larger inflation. But for now, we're going to start looking for cracks. We're going to start looking for cracks in either direction. And what we're going to do is we've got 2 minutes for the report to come out. We'll pull up the report together live, and then we'll just go through it piece by piece. It'll be fun. So, expectations. We're expecting a headline number of 4.9%. That's a year-over-year inflation bump of 4.9%, and a month-over-month inflation bump of a month-over-month of 0.5%, so 0.5%. Usually, the headline that the news agencies use is here we go. So, okay, another minute. Usually, the headlines the news agencies use is the annual reading. So, inflation 4.9% or whatever makes sense because it's a little more clickbaity. And then, of course, we have the month-over-month data, which is what we generally start with on the BLS. All right, waiting for that here. There we go. Okay. Great. We are about 45 seconds away now from that release, so I'm excited to see it together. In fact, I'll show you what it kind of looks like, what I'm looking at here. Throw this in the iPad too, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. So again, we are going to be looking right here. It says 0.6%. This is from last month. We are expecting it to say 0.5%. If we get a big number coming in, something, big number would probably be something, again, like 0.7, 0.8, 0.9. 0.7 probably not so much. I think the market will probably brush off. But you see something like, I don't know, 0.9, 1%. Which we have seen before this year, then I'll create a little more nervousness. No update yet. Still waiting. So here we go. Any second now. We'll see it live together here. Can we go to this camera? Nope, that camera's off. All right. It's too early. Too early for that camera. Here we go. Still on May. It is coming out. Okay. 0.9. Ooh, that's on the higher side. That is on the higher side. Uh-oh. Let's take a look at what happened here. So I'm going to quickly throw this into a note sheet here because then it's easier for us to review. Give me 1 second. And here we go. Okay, come on, import document faster. 0.9%, like I said, that is on the higher side. So we've got CPI comes in at 0.9 in June, seasonally adjusted basis 0.6 in May, after 0.6 in May. The index, let's see, this was the largest 1 month change since June 2008 when the index rose 1.0%. Over the last 12 months, all items index went up 5.4%, both numbers coming in much higher than expected. So both numbers higher than expected. This was the largest 12-month increase since, all right, got it. The index for, here we go with the cars and trucks again. Now we want to figure out why, right? This is the big thing. We want to figure out why. The index for used cars and trucks continued to rise sharply, going at 10.5% in June. The increase accounted for more than 1/3 of the seasonally adjusted increase in all items. And the food index increased 0.8% in June, a larger increase than the 0.4% expected. The energy index increased 1.5% in June, with the gasoline index up 2.5%. The index for all items less food and energy rose 0.9% in June after increasing 0.7% in June. Many of these same indices continue to increase, including used cars, new vehicles, airline fares, and apparel. Apparel now, that's interesting. The index for medical care and the index for household furnishings and operations were among few major components which decreased in June. That's interesting. So household furnishings, medical care went down. So services and household furnishings. So 5.4%, definitely more than expected. We're gonna go to the tables here. In fact, I'm gonna give me 1 second to pull up the tables here. Yeah, that's more than expected. We're gonna grab the tables. We're gonna go through exactly what the heck is in these tables here and see. So we can go detailed expenses by category. This is always fun to see what they got here. We'll see exactly where these things are. What we're looking for in this table is what kind of, here we go. What kind of things specifically are going up that are leading to this increase? So on the left here, you're going to have the category, and on the right, you're going to have this month-over-month increase. So we're looking for big numbers here, either up or down. Just going to look for big numbers here. So, okay, here we go. Here's a 4.5, here's a 5, here's a 6, here's a 6.4. Those are some big numbers. What are these? Beef up 4.5%, and then parts within beef. Ham up about 3%, pork up about 5%. So here's some food getting a little more expensive. 2.8% on frozen seafood. We've got, I want to see the big numbers here, especially airfare. And let's see, come on, where is it? Here's one, 5%. Here's a 5%. Okay, 5% on women's dresses. Sorry, women. 5% increase on women's dresses this month. All right, here's another one. 5.6% on transportation commodities, less motor fuels. There you go. Here's one of your big ones. Look at that. As they highlighted themselves, 10.5%. 10.5%. That's insane on used and new. Used cars and trucks. Last month we went up 7.3%. Before that, 10. Before that, 10.8. We've had just some insane increases here, and then they show you an annual growth. So that's not about 45. It's not a month. So that's pretty big right here. Okay. So again, the temporary transition factors of used cars and trucks. Look at this here. 7% on lodging away from home. So hotels, hospitality. 7.9% other lodging away from home, including hotels and motels, right? So interesting. Hotels, motels, cars, used cars going up. Part of our reopening items. 2% on moving, storage, and freight expense. It's getting more expensive to move. 5.2% on car and truck rental. That's less than that 12% we had last month, but 5.2% still pretty high. Okay, looking at other large reads here. And that's the table there. Okay, so big things. Car and trucks, car truck rentals, lodging, rent of primary residence only went up 0.2%. Like rents are going up. That's an annual rate for inflation of 2.4% on rate on rent. The big movers and shakers here, lodging away from home. This is actually very interesting. This is a huge bump compared to what we've seen, at least last month. So take a look at this. Last month we sat at 0.4%. All of a sudden that reading went up 7%. This is interesting. Look at this one here. Here's one last month that was 6.4% to the upside. Domestic services. And domestic services actually had a deflationary reading here of a negative 2.8%. We expect a lot of that to come for used cars and prices and such. You know, somebody asked me yesterday, they're like, Kevin, how could you possibly have deflation in wages? They're like, how are wages going to go down? And see, the interesting thing is, to first of all not have a ton of inflation, like you could literally have zero inflation. Wages just have to stop going up. Remember, that's something interesting to keep in mind about inflation, because and I always like saying this because it gets easily forgotten. So quickly, let's say somebody gets paid, I don't know, $3,000 a month, okay, and all of a sudden they get offered $3,300 per month. A lot of folks are like, well, Kevin, somebody's not going to automatically just pay them less. Right. That's true. But if next year people keep getting hired and they also get hired at 3,300, well, then that means you had 10% inflation here on recovery wages, but that meant the next year you had 0% inflation. If now the newer hires started getting paid, I don't know, $3,200, well, then all of a sudden you actually have a deflationary reading, right? So you don't actually have to see wages for existing folks go down to see inflation go down on wages. But anyway, that's always important to look at. Okay, let's go through this here. What other items are they saying? In contrast to these increases, the index for cereals and bakery products was the only one of 6 major grocery store categories in the index to decline in June. Okay, the index for cereal and bakery products. Okay, interesting. So who remembers when all of a sudden we were hoarding what's it called? Cereal, like during the pandemic? I remember that. Anyway, let me look at the 10-year treasury really quick. I would expect the 10-year to go up, and I want to see how futures are doing as well. And then we're going to keep looking at this report here. CNBC actually already went on commercial. All right, let's see the line chart here on the 10-year treasury. 10-year treasury is sitting at 1.36. I'm actually shocked. The market is still brushing this off, folks. Here, I'll show you in one sec. Okay, here's a screenshot. Thanks, Bloomberg, for letting me share this. All right, look at that. Look at this, folks. The initial heart palpitation of, oh my gosh, there's more inflation than we expected. And it's already coming back down. That's really interesting. I was not expecting the market to brush us off. Again, we saw the inflation in mostly temporary regions again. But taking a peek here, let's see here. Piton. Yeah, I'm actually, let me see. I'm going to look at the SPY really quick. Yeah, see, look at that. You do see the S&P 500. It pulled back about, a fraction of a move here. What, 0.25%? It's not that big of a deal. Okay. So far, not like a massive reaction, but certainly a reaction to the downside. I would expect you'd see like Tesla rotate down slightly, yeah. And ordinarily, you would see like Caterpillar do better. So that was Tesla. Caterpillar. See Caterpillar stable. I don't know, what's another one? Enphase gets affected by inflation. See, and barely a move here though. Couple points over here. That's 1%. That's decent. A 1% shift. Yeah, that could take you from positive to negative. Very interesting. All right. So food away from home index 0.7%. Okay, we read this. Okay. The index for limited service meals rose 6.2% since June 2020. Okay, let's keep going. Food overall. All right, let's see here. Food at employee sites and schools declined sharply, falling 29.9%. Well, yeah. All right. The energy index rose 24.5% over the past 12 months. Oh, my gosh. Gasoline index rose 45.1% since June. Oh, my gosh. Electricity increased 3.8% over the last year, while natural gas rose 15.6%. The index for all items less food and energy. Okay, let's see the index. Okay, here we go. This was the used cars and trucks again. Largest monthly increase ever reported for used cars and trucks, which was first published in 1953. Oh my gosh. Shelter index rose 0.5%. The index for rent rose 0.2%. That was nothing. We saw that. Lodging away from home increased 7%. That was pretty big. The index for airline fares rose 2.7% in June after increasing 7% the previous month. Okay, good. That's a nice chillaxing again. The index for apparel increased 0.7% in June, following 1.2% in May. Household furnishings fell. Communication was unchanged. Medical care index declined 0.1%. The index, see, here's a headline. Yahoo Finance is running the headline. Stock futures mixed after inflation data tops estimates, with consumer prices rising 5.4% in June over last year. See, they always go with the bigger number. Okay. I want to see if we can get a little bit more data here. Oh, here we go. Woo, excuse me. Okay, the consumer price index for urban wage earners and clerical workers increased 6.1% over the last 12 months. And for the month, the index rose 1.1%. Ooh, that's a big rate for urban wage earners and clerical workers. Let's see here. Chain consumer price index for all consumers increased 5.3% over the last 12 months. For the month, the index increased 0.9% on a not seasonally. Okay, all right. Anything else? Let's see here. Let's look at some notes. Well, I scour these notes quickly. Remember, we've got a coupon code linked down below that gets you 40% off the amazing programs on building your wealth, where you get my perspective and I can answer your questions in our private live streams, and you get my perspective on building your wealth in real estate or stocks. Check those links out down below. You can also see the course on making YouTube videos. But anyway, let's see. Urban wagers and clerical workers. Okay. These are just sort of definitions here. The index goes, oh, that's interesting. Let's see here. CPI, and this is always, y'all saw the chart of how many things are actually in CPI, but CPI are based on food, clothing, shelter, fuels, transportations, doctors and dentists, drugs, and other goods and services. Prices are collected each month in 75 urban areas across the country from 6,000 housing units and approximately 22,000 retail establishments. Wow. That's a lot of work. Gotta have an army to do this. Okay. Curious to see if CNBC is saying anything about this. Let's see.
Good morning to both of you. Dan, explain what this initiative is all about.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Jeff Wybo. Thanks for being here. Thanks for that shout out.
About 2 years or so ago.
Okay, they're already over it. CNBC's not even giving airtime to this. I'm honestly kind of shocked that they're not. I know they talked about it when it came out, but shocked they're not talking about it more. Maybe I just talked about it too long. So here's Tesla flat now in the pre-market. Looking at some more of the pre-market reaction here. We do have ChargePoint down 4.4%. Not much of an impact from the CPI read. Most of the impact from ChargePoint here came in the pre-market. Let's see BTC, USD. Okay, really? 5 minutes. That's odd. It's just odd. This is what we talked about yesterday. It's just weird. Look at that. Here's where the inflation reading comes out. The inflation reading comes out way larger than expected. And it pushes Bitcoin down from about 33,000 to 32,400. I told you it does this. I don't know why. But yeah, very, very bizarre. ADA, well, that obviously means Cardano's going to be rotating down. Yep. By the dip, 127. Doge, same thing. It's just weird. Ethereum. So generally, when we see a decline in crypto prices, and we see a decline in or a stabilization in the 10-year treasury, and we see the stock market kind of brushing this off, kind of suggests that the market is like rolling its eyes over this mostly. Again, thanks to Bloomberg for letting me shout this out. But take a look here. Here are your treasuries, your 10-year treasuries. This was the 9th, 12th, 13th. This was the bond market this morning. Bond market this morning, kind of just following yesterday, sitting around 1.36. This is barely a move, folks. The market just doesn't care. The market is saying, you know what? Yeah, look, those are some high reads, but 2/3 of the reading is because of a high. Let's see here. 1/3 of the reading is because of cars and trucks. You know, you've got another massive reading here from other items like the lodging away from home. These things really pull up the average, all of the tables. So I think the market, for some reason, the way it's reacting is just, no big deal. No big deal. That's what the market's saying here. Very interesting. Margin requirements for BTC held on leverage swap goes up. I don't know. I don't know how much is really changing. We'll see. Maybe something to look into. But take a look at some of the other things here. You see momentum. Momentum starting to lose a little bit here. 5.4% on the SPAC charge point. AMC down 4%. Newegg down 3.53%. Workhorse down 2.5%. Boeing down a chunk here, 2.3%. Virgin Galactic, another 2% shave off. Arcimoto, 1.79%. Well, here we go. Marin down, Marin's up 12.1%. It was down 16% yesterday, running 11.9% today. 2.95% on Redfin to the upside. Very interesting. And otherwise, relatively stable market. No real heart palpitations here. No real burn on the market. Let's go take a peek to see what Fox Business is saying. Which, by the way, which of you got to see me on Fox yesterday? That was cool. Fox LA, that was fun.
Trust, respect, love, exercise, discipline,
we're talking about a smart collar on Fox Business. Okay. Let's go ahead and see if we can pull up Bloomberg Live here. See what Bloomberg has. Let's see what we got here. Yep. Consumer prices surged in June, topping estimates. That's right. And remember, we're not expecting to see an inflection point until September and October. That's going to be the big deal. If we get to September and October and you're still seeing big inflation numbers, you know, that's when it starts getting to be a little like, wait a minute. Okay, what's happening? Now, September, October data comes out October, November, but I think the market will start pricing in. You're trying to use August data. All right, let's listen in a little bit.
Shifted careers, and they are no longer in those low-wage, dead-end jobs that are so hard to fill today.
What do those industries do?
I don't know. I was just reading a piece the other day about offering 401k.
Why are all these interviews boring right now? All boring. Thank you for the compliments on the interview there. Yeah, yeah, they told me up front, they're like, Kevin, you have 7 minutes. And I'm like, oh, I could get it done in 7 minutes. I got a lot to say. And they're like, well, you have to be concise. And I'm like, I can do that too. It was fun. So yeah, they were very nice there. Cool studio set as well. By the way, if you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, take a look at the Instagram stories. They have robots for cameras. It's insane. Like I thought, you know, my set was cool. Then I went over there and saw their robots for cameras, like literally these massive cameras that just automatic. Well, I'm sure maybe somebody's controlling them, but they will just automatically roll around, and they can up, lower, tilt, everything, every control you would imagine. Fully robot. It's insane. It was crazy. But yeah, anyway, okay, geez, it's 5:51. I mean, we usually start the market open live stream in 8-9 minutes here, so we may as well just we may as well just roll over here into market open. But boy, oh boy, wow, this is I'll just add that to the title here really quick. Definitely a larger inflation reading than expected, I will say. Inflation release, inflation shocker, 5.9%. No, 5.4%. Details, market open. There we go. Okay, good. Wow. All right. I do want to see if Bitcoin's going to hit like a bottom here. Not yet. Oh dear Lord. Hey, there's always these little buy the dip opportunities, but look how it just plowed through a support level, which was actually a relatively strong one too. Okay. All right, Cardano ticking up slightly here. Yeah, but after the inflation reading, right away got some ticks to the downsides. Somebody says lots of traders don't trade when the numbers first come out. Best way to see. I don't know about that. Mostly because I think a lot of trading is algorithmic, and that's why you probably had very quick reactions in the market. Let's see here. I'm from New York, but Kev, you were amazing in the interview. Oh, well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's remote controlled, says Fahad. Oh, thank you. Nobody's job is safe. Oh, yeah, unfortunately, probably right. Did I rehearse? Well, I think the easiest way to answer that is just by saying that when you do 9 rallies in the span of a very short period of time, you get asked the same questions frequently. And because I actually do Q&A at my rallies, I've answered the same questions many times. So I would suppose you could call that a version of rehearsing, but you don't know what they're going to ask you. You know ballpark what they're going to ask. Okay, who are you? Why are you running? Tell us a little bit about some of your highlights of your plan. Right? That's normal, but you really have no idea what they're going to say. So that's tough. Nerd Life, I'm clipping this stream and turning it into an NFT. Oh gosh. All right. You have to get the win, Kevin. I live in LA next to Tent City. It smells like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, no, that's a big priority. All right. So, Binance suspended withdrawals in GBP in the UK. Really? What's up with Binance? I hate it when Binance does this. Because it just creates a little bit more fear in the market. Oh, now maybe this goes into what the other person was saying. Maybe the algos are a little slow today. But look at the Bloomberg terminal here. Well, this is just a screenshot here. But look at bond yields. Bond yields ticking up. Going on its way back to 1.4%, which we've been before. I mean, really, I think. Honestly, I mean, with a 0.9% increase, I have to say, I was really expecting a much more negative reaction. Like I said, okay, I said it up front. I'm like, 0.9% is going to be on the high side. I thought, 0.7, 0.8, like you brush it off. 0.9 was on the high side. It literally was 0.9. So it's interesting now to see the market now reacting a little bit more. You could sort of see this double line when you zoom into this. It's like up, then starts rotating down again, and now it's going back up again. So we'll keep an eye on this. But then again, 1.38% is like nothing. All right, let's get rid of this. Go back to Webull. There we go. Which remember, you could get 2 totally free stocks with Webull, which is this platform we're using here. When you deposit $100 with them or use the link down below, deposit $100, you get 2 free stocks with Webull worth up to $1,850. All right, so MREN sitting around that 11%. OGI is moving today, 6.79. So plus, sorry, but California gun laws are a joke. Yes, they are. This is true. And every time they talk about more gun laws, gun sales go up, which literally does the opposite of what the establishment wants. But we already know the laws are broken. Did y'all hear the thing about the fire extinguishers? Oh my gosh. Or not the fire hydrants. Illegal marijuana is being grown so crazily. in California right now. Like, they keep building more and more illegal farms. People are just illegally stealing water from fire hydrants in fire-ravaged regions of California. And rather than shut down the illegal farms, California just decided, let's just remove the fire hydrants. Like, what? You can't make this stuff up. You just can't make this stuff up. Yes, the 10-year appears to be mooning. This is correct. Let me go back to it right now really quick. One sec. Oh, yeah, 1.3863 now. I'm going to go back to 1 month here. If you go on the 1 month, though, which I'm not trying to minimize the fact that the 10-year is going up right now, but it's a drop in the bucket. For this to go to 1. Honestly, with a 0.9 on the reading, I would expect this to be like 0.45 or some kind of massive skyrocket here. So anyway, this is on a month. So you can see on a month, like the increase over here is like, I mean, look at that. It's like nothing, right? But it is an up. All right. Invest in Kevin Coin and you'll have Instagram models promoted. Oh my gosh. Okay. Then let's see here. Take a look at some of the numbers. Riot blockchain down 2.26%. Yeah, I mean, it's just crypto selling off again. And I always think it's so weird when we have these higher inflation numbers to see crypto selling off. And look at it, it's continuing. It's continuing its sell down. The only way it makes sense, in my opinion, is because the market's actually thinking like, well, there's still hope it's temporary. I think that's what you got. Yes, crafted investor. Yes, that is a big deal, what you're talking about. Cali's become lawless. It's ridiculous. OSAT is coiling. Okay, I'm going to be transparent here. I have not heard of coiling before. Maybe is it like this? Like, woo? Okay. I have not heard of that one before. It's a good one. I like new phrases to describe things. Usually we just say the sticks are going up. The stick's green. Bitcoin's still falling here. Yeah, I don't really know what I consider myself, Fernando. If you go to meetkevin.com, you could see my policies, and there you go. So whatever that means. All right, is the market now starting to trend down? Says someone here. Let's look at the SPY. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm very curious about that actually, because somebody earlier did mention like, hey, well, Kevin, maybe people were reacting slower. I didn't agree with you at first. I thought it was mostly going to be algorithmic, but actually, right now you're right. It does look like the market is rotating down a little bit more. Yeah, look at this sort of downtrend that we're getting here. Let's look at like AAPL here for a moment. Yeah, here are the indice futures. Yeah, even Apple going down.
Expected consumer inflation numbers up 5.4 year on year. Biggest jump since 08 as the transitory debate rages on. 10-year 138. Our roadmap, though, begins with earnings getting underway. JPM and Goldman rolling out results.
Plus shares of Boeing, we're going to keep an eye on them taking a hit perhaps after saying the company will cut production of its 787 Dreamliner.
And, quote, an unusual and even rare. Fauci commenting on the FDA's new warning label on J&J's COVID vaccine. We've got details on that. Dive right into bank earnings, though, Jim. I know you were talking about Goldman with the guys on Squawk. Some of these overall revenue numbers, you literally have to triple check because it doesn't, the actual number versus consensus doesn't look right.
Well, look, sometimes you get numbers where, let's take Goldman. I mean, they had a huge quarter last year because that was the COVID quarter, and they just completely delivered and beat it. I mean, this investment banking division is a miracle. I mean, I can't believe how much money. David, 10% over return on equity, by the way.
JP Morgan's second quarter profits more than doubles, beating expectations. Very nice. Yeah, this is something we talked about yesterday. Somebody asked me about the banks. I'm like, look, I don't like the banks. I don't like investing in the banks. not going to invest in banks. I think their earnings will do well. They got lots of cash. I think their earnings will do well, which they are, but not. Just I'm not going to invest in them.
Just
Also, I want to come back to that.
What we will.
Yeah. Actually, listen to this. And this I mentioned yesterday too. I think that the thing with JP Morgan and some of the banks is that like the easiest growth is behind them. And I just see this headline here: JP Morgan earnings topped expectations, but boom time for trading is over.
David, I mean,
Yes, we go by
Trading revenues and things, right?
Cher is not Cher the singer; it's Steve Cher, the
Steve Cher, who's
CFO
actually
of Goldman Sachs,
and not a
Yes.
sniper. Not
Although
a sniper.
he may be a good singer, we don't know.
No, he's
Yeah.
not a good singer.
Oh, he's not.
No.
Okay.
And he doesn't spin either.
Okay, they get distracted very easily. not that it's wrong, but I do want to read off the JPM earnings. So the earnings came in like 2 hours ago or something insane. Let me see if I can get the JP Morgan. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so headline numbers on JP Morgan. Second quarter earnings per share was 3.78, adjusted revenue of 31.4 billion. The estimate was 30.06 billion. So the year-over-year jump was at the large number. So that's not that big of a beat. 1.4 bill up. AUM $3 trillion of assets under management. Book value at $84.85. You know what's crazy about the fact that their book value is $84.85? JP Morgan was literally trading for under $80 during the recession, during the pandemic. Now, in fairness, when I was looking at their book value during the pandemic, their book value was like $60. But still, they were really close to book value, which that was like Warren Buffett valuation like time, where it's like, oh my gosh, you can buy something for close to book in this market. That was crazy times. But which was one of the reasons I actually bought JPM and rode the wave with JPM. But I don't own any right now. JPM second quarter equity sales and trading revenue 2.69 billion. The estimate was 2.2 billion. That's a huge bump in trading revenues. Wow. Yeah, some incredible. I mean, these are some incredible numbers here. Return on common equity 18%. Return on tangible common equity 23%. Okay, what do we got here? Let's see here. Recovery of credit losses, 2.29 billion. Estimated recovery, 326 billion. Wow. So they're actually pulling a lot more revenue in from money they wrote off, expecting a bunch of losses. Oh, thank you for the $10 donation here. Why does crypto sell off on higher inflation? Isn't Bitcoin supposed to be the digital gold? Steve, so to answer your question, I believe that crypto is selling off because crypto and the markets broadly realize that the inflation we're seeing is in temporary spaces. And I know like half the people listening to this video are like, shut up with the temporary, Kevin. Look at the chart. Look at the data. Housing or lodging away from home, airlines, used cars and trucks. Those are temporary things, temporary segments. It does look like we may have, though, hit a bottom here on Bitcoin, 32,450, 32 about 300 being a bit of a bottom here. ADA. Yeah, seeing a little bit of that bottom here as well. Rotating back up. All right, let's see here. All right, I love the headlines. U.S. inflation accelerated in June, challenging the Fed's view that rising price pressure will prove temporary. Okay. Okay, we'll see. Give it time. All right, so let's see here. All right, what we got? 14 minutes to market open. I would not mind buying a little bit of the ADA dip. And das is what I'm going to do. Buy. Thank you very much. Place order. All right, here we go. can't get the darn order in. There we go. All right, they go through. There we go. All right. So, oh, no way. Hold on a second here. That's really cool. It's an honor. Give me 1 second. Okay. As usual, anytime I trade stocks or crypto, I send out an alert. Just grabbed about $12,000 of ADA USD on Coinbase Pro. There we go. All right. So I add that as a long. But anyway, yeah. Anytime I buy or sell something, it's not for anyone to copy my trades. But anytime I buy or sell something, I mean, you saw this one live, so it's a freebie for you. But I will post an alert. Oh, this is so cool. Oh, Ross, check this out. Ross Gerber, enough Gavin Newsom. Real Meat Kevin for governor of California. Recall Gavin Newsom. Wow, this is so cool. What an honor. I'm just going to straight up retweet that. That is awesome. Thank you. Ross, freaking awesome. Okay. So anyway, yeah. All right. Let's see here. What were we looking at? Oh, yes. We were looking at Jpm earnings. So let me go back to Jpm earnings a little bit. Yeah, okay, JP Morgan still sees fiscal year net interest income coming in 52.5, a little less than expected. Trading revenue came in at 4.1. That was right along expectations. They're taking money back from losses. We saw this. Earnings per share came in at 3.78 versus 3.15. And usually the banks, I mean, that's big. Wow, yeah, that is a beat. Nice beat. Charge-offs came in at 734 million versus 1.24 billion expected. Net charge-offs were down 53%, better than expected. Yeah, these are very strong earnings from JP Morgan. I mean, very good. They're going to continue their stock buyback. Wonderful. I'll look at Goldman quickly. Got about 21 minutes before the market opens here. But let's go to Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs earnings. They, unfortunately, for anyone wondering, they reported like 2.5 hours ago or something stupid. I have no idea why they do it pre-market and so early, but I prefer the after hours earnings. We can look at those live together, but which we will do at market close today. We'll be covering some of our big earnings coming out. All right, let's see what the news is at Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs, by the way, does the Apple Card for, Apple. A second quarter EPS coming in at 15.02. Net revenue came in at 15.34 billion versus 12.4 expected. Oh my gosh, that's huge. That's almost $3 billion more than expected. That's almost 20% more revenue than expected. That is insane. Oh my gosh, Goldman Sachs. Wow. You can really make money. Trading revenue came in a little softer at 4.9 billion versus an expectation of 5. Let's see here. Average return on shareholder equity, 23.7%. Clients still face challenges in overcoming pandemic, provision for credit losses. Let's see here. Benefit of $92 million. It's not that big of a benefit there. EPS came in at $15 versus an estimate of 10. Oh, that's like oh my gosh, that's like a 50% beat. That's a 50% beat. Oh my gosh. On EPS, that's insane. Wow, Goldman kicked freaking butt. So what's crazy though is you put in GS, and I know they're doing pretty well. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought maybe they weren't up as high, but they're up 1.5% or a couple percent or something here. Here, let's try to get GS here on the watch list. GS. Here, we'll add them. We'll add GS, and I'm pretty sure I already have JPM on watch. I do. Okay, here we go. So JPM is down. JPM is roughly flat, which is nuts after those earnings. And Goldman Sachs up 1.55%. Yeah. This is good. And look at how, even though the earnings came out a while ago, the market is just slowly digesting the earnings and pumping up the price here at Goldman a little better. Which, keep in mind, I also mentioned yesterday that banks would probably do better off higher inflation readings. So that's not hurting them right now. Now, they also had good earnings, but let's look at their reaction here. So right here is where CPI came out. This is on the 5-minute. First 5-minute candle looks relatively flat, slightly down. Let's see here. Oh, no. Yeah. See, here we go. We had already fallen. So we were relatively flat before the reading. Reading comes out and the banks go up. So this is as expected. Same thing in reverse with technology. But let's see if it's recovering at all already. No, not really. Tesla's flattish. But you saw that decline. SPY. GS has the best earnings ever. Next month, 6 million Americans will be evicted. This has never happened before, right? Well, yeah. I mean, that's an interesting parallel that you're drawing. I feel your sentiment, and I hear you, because it's like, wait a minute, why should Wall Street have the best earnings ever while we have an eviction crisis, right? I'll tell you one of the reasons we still have an eviction crisis. It's because you've got, I was going to say a worse word, dum-dums like Governor Newsom, who have $5.2 billion in rental relief money, but only 2.3% has gone to the people in 7 months. Is that fair, folks? 2.3% of the money? They're holding the money hostage. It's bad. You should be helping the tenants who are suffering. It's a disgrace. 7 months. People still haven't gotten their emergency money. It's a joke. Anyway, sorry. You got me on a tangent there. Speaking of which, if you want to see me talk about California, you want to meet me in person, go to meetkevin.com. I've got a rally in Bakersfield this weekend. So Bakersfield rally this weekend. Yeah, I'll also be interviewing folks in Bakersfield. Also, later today, I will be interviewing the CEO of Predictit.org, which is where you can place bets on my campaign, for example, versus Governor Newsom. You can place bets on who's going to be the president, who's going to run. There's so many cool things you could place bets on Predictit. And it's kind of a fun market. There are a lot of traders in it, too, that go in and go out. It's fun. But anyway, yeah, you could type in Predictit and just type in Newsom or Meet Kevin or whatever. All right, anyway. All right, so what else do we have? Yeah, Goldman Sachs still doing well here. Cannabis. Well, this is interesting. Cannabis actually moving a little bit today, 2 to 3% here. Build-A-Bear coming back about 5.63% after that sell-off yesterday, which was really just like a $4.5 million dump by some kind of whale. JP Morgan sitting flat on these earnings, which is a little interesting. Thank you for saying that. Say it. Because they are monopolizing people into economic slavery and rewarded for playing the game inflation to pay bondholders while Americans fund their own economic slavery. Wow. I see what you're saying. I hear you. He bought some Kevin shares. That's cool. YouTube will get you. House prices are going nuts in all states. Yes, they are. House prices are going nuts. I don't think I said anything to the opposite of that. I said that rent prices weren't going up high. But take a look at this. This is very, I hope you have seen my videos on this already. But we've been talking about this. Okay. Britney Spears releases a bizarre home video before a big day in court. I have no idea why I'm getting this alert. And I have no idea why that even seems interesting. But it kind of does. We're not going to look at it. I'm sorry. All right. See here. This is just, I want to take a peek at this. So new listings up. New listing median price for real estate. Look at the orange line. Still going up. Still going up, which is ridiculous. But pending sales plummeting. I'm gonna go to the 1 week here. That's bad, by the way, for the real estate market. Yeah, still rotating down. I'm gonna keep an eye on this. These inflection points here. But this is very interesting to me. Oh dear. Kevin did not make any coffee. You go out to 12 weeks. Still looks like it's going up, but it's just like a moving average. Yeah. All right. Oof. Okay. What do we have here? AMC down 5.3% right now. Virgin Galactic down 3.4%. More interesting. Hold on. Let me get the 10-year again as well. Let's see here. I'll pull up the 10-year 1 second.
They did.
But the question, David, is do they have the money to be able to, right now, do fine?
Why are you whispering?
Do an equity offer?
I do not know the answer to that. They have obviously a lot of it.
Can Boeing do an equity offering? You're whispering about that because you don't want stock people to freak out. Oh, Jim. Interesting inflation not inflation chart. It's the 10-year treasury, but interesting behavior in that market. I'll show it to you in a second. I have to take a screenshot of it. Okay, so screenshot by Bloomberg Terminal. Look at this. Look at this confusion in what to do, right? It's just confusion. Now, remember, this is a drop in the bucket over the last month, but it's still interesting. Let's see.
Because this is how you get it past you.
Good platform for buying crypto. Sure, Vlad. Which is funny that your name is Vlad while asking that. He's obviously a CEO of Robinhood's Vlad. But Coinbase Pro, personally, I like Coinbase Pro a lot. It's easy, and they've got low fees. Robinhood, it probably has the best pricing, which I know pisses off a lot of Bitcoin or like coin holders because you don't actually hold your coins, right? You just have like a representation of. But I mean, it's true. Ruben says he's running for Congress in Texas. We need Kevin another. Oh, well, thank you for that. And the Federal Reserve World Banks. And uproot the original sin of economic slavery. Ruben, you sound like you've got some perspectives I want to hear about. I want to hear more about your platform. It's interesting. It's that hedge fund whisper. The Biden whisper. Because y'all terrible. He is sus. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, is this what Peter Schiff tweeted? We should get Schiff. We should do another interview with Schiff. I love talking to Schiff. He always keeps me level-headed. Okay, because some of our views are very opposite. Should we reach out to them again? What do y'all think? We'll do it. All right, let's see here. All right, here we go. All right. We'll just say, should we do another following our beautiful inflation readings that are obviously temporary? I'm not going to say that. For beautiful inflation. All right. Harry Dent. How to avoid buying after hours, sell next day? Oh, yeah, I don't know. That's not something I do very regularly, so I don't have an answer for you on that. I found it interesting that about 15 minutes before your segment, they had a segment about homelessness in California, then one about COVID in schools. It was like, here's the problems, here's Kevin with the answers. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, you're right. You're right. On yesterday's the Fox, you're right. That's a good point. Thank you for watching, Drew. Appreciate that. What's up, Jeremy? Oh, you know how I feel. We'll see. Rent actually wasn't too bad. Rent was not too bad. Rent was what, 2.2%? I want to say rent was only 0.2%. But yeah, look, some of the other readings were high. Woo! Oh, yeah. So what happens when you don't come prepared with a coffee for a 5:25 live stream? Oh my gosh. Oh, goodness gracious. AMC down 6% now. We're about to fall below 40. That's a big break for AMC. You know, that's a plummet. Uh-oh. This is not so good. Now, it's pre-market, so I don't usually trust it. But you don't want to see volume going up while at the same time seeing pricing fall. All right. Marin, canopy growth, climate change. Yeah, you've got some green here. Some of the, look at cannabis, though. Canopy, Aurora, and Clever. Tilray. I'll tell you, I'm not going to touch any cannabis company until California actually gets its freaking act together and deals with the illegal cannabis problem. 80% of cannabis sold in California is illegal. It's been 5 years since it's been legalized. People are like, oh, if California legalized it, it's gonna be great for cannabis stocks. Yeah, I don't know about that yet.
Is back. And remember, we're talking about Espoo, Finland is where the deadline is. But, I mean, that's for the dateline. But get this. What is Nokia?
What do you mean?
Okay, 10-year back down to 1.366. So dropping a little bit again here. And somebody's got a question about the short interest for CRTD. I'll also pull up the short interest on AMC because it could be something that's leading to a little bit of move in here. Grown illegal or distributed illegal? Folks, cartels in the deserts, forget the forests, say it. The forests used to be a problem. They still have problems. So you're not wrong about this, but it's literally gotten so much worse that you have people on YouTube posting drone flyover pictures of illegal cannabis farms popping up by the day. Like, we've literally gone from, in the Mojave Desert, 1,500 illegal farms in 2020 to 1,600 illegal farms. This, like, California is so frustrated, the sheriff of San Bernardino will bust an illegal farm on Saturday, and he says on Wednesday they're back up and running. Like, there's nothing they can do. It's because the governor is just like, I don't see a problem. It's horrible. CRTD was, I think, what somebody wanted me to look up. I think. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I'm pretty sure the ticker, yeah, CRTD, yeah. 16.11%. And short interest appears to be rising. Best line ever right here. California has a governor. That the illegal farms, the legal companies will lose money. No, the legal companies are actually getting squeezed out of business because the legal companies can't compete. It's much cheaper to just buy the black market stuff. It's horrible. It's very horrible. It's very, very bad. You can't make this stuff up. They also have a fentanyl epidemic. Yes, you can grow, they're growing opium poppies out in the desert as well, which, you know what's interesting is, and I haven't 100% fact checked this, so maybe I shouldn't say it, but I believe this is true. Apparently you can grow opium poppies, and they're like a beautiful flower, the nice bulb in this. But as soon as you try to scrape the bulb and extract any of the sap, well, that becomes like an instant felony. Anyway, AMC short interest on the Black app down. Wow, that's a revision down, 15.97%. That's a big revision down. And let's go to Ortex. Wow, this is definitely higher earlier. That's very interesting. Okay, while I grab Ortex, remember to use that 40% off coupon code link down below. The price will be going up after the coupon expires on the 22nd. The price will be going up on the 23rd. Usually goes up $20, $30, $40, somewhere around there. Lately, it's been a little higher because every time inflation readings come in higher, take advantage of that. Oh, that's why AMC is, ooh, yeah, it's the revision down. That's a big revision down. We must have had the indices report. That's my guess. Exchange reported down. No, it doesn't actually show that. That is a big revision down. Wow. Yeah, because this was 18.9 yesterday, 18.24 last week. Short interest just plummeted on AMC. Ugh. Well, that could help explain seeing the transition we're seeing. All right. Yeah. Not only does California tax the crap out of weed, but every city has different rules and regulations. It's a complete disaster. Any comment about California shutting down a nuclear plant? Yeah, it's a disaster. It's a complete disaster. California, the leadership is so broken. And I know that Californians are good people. Like so many people within California, they shake their heads like, really? These are the policies that we have? This is the crap we have to deal with? It's just bad leadership. It's so sad. It's so sad. All right. 2 minutes to the market open. So let's see here. Thoughts on Spotify now that YouTube music in game? I never have been a big fan of Spotify. But that's not to say it's not a great company, a great stock. Maybe I'm just not enough of a user, right, of Spotify. I know we were just talking about cannabis. I think, let's see here. AMC short interest went down, but utilization and shares on loans stayed the same, which is interesting. Yes, it is. It's probably because, and you got to keep this in mind. The estimated short interest is estimated, so they could use different data sets to revise their estimates. So that could explain why. It's just we don't have enough transparent data, right? I think that's what makes AMC a little bit more difficult to track sometimes. Something I do want to say about just very briefly is how cool would it be if California, which is something that I think is something to look into, if California just had its own stock exchange that anybody could use, that companies like AMC could list on, where they could get off the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ, come to a California stock exchange, and the premise of the exchange is 100% transparent pricing, equal pricing between retail investors and hedge funds and institutional investors, and equal access to data. To me, that sounds like something that's really fair, that should exist. Anyway. All right. Cannabis is doing well today. Again, after seeing the disaster of California, I'm not highly enthused about cannabis stocks, but I'm happy to see that they appear to be rotating to the positive side again. Tesla is actually up 0.07 today. GM is up fractionally. Oh, Bell.
The vaccines, you'll see that every time it's been.
Why are they not playing the bell?
The conclusion.
Get Fauci off and play the bell.
That the benefit of the vaccine.
They're missing the bell because of Fauci. I'll go here.
3 seconds, we start trading, expecting minor losses pretty much across the board. And here we go. We're off, we're running, and we're down 40 points for the Dow Industrials, 40 or 50 points, 34,900. You're awfully close to the...
I can't believe CNBC missed the bell playing a clip of Fauci. Here we go. Here comes AMC roaring back. Let's go. Here you go. There you go. That's nice. Still down 4% right now. Getting a little bit of a roar here. Okay, let's see here. You know what? I'm going to join the cause. I'm just going to throw in 69 shares. There you go. I did it. Now, I did say that yesterday, for those of you in the Stocks and Cycle group, that I would incrementally add 69 shares. Diamond total to fit. Okay. It is in a downtrend, though. It's fundamentally risky. You know, the only reason you would do this is to be part of the movement. And then of course over time we'll see how it plays out, especially with how GME played out. Fundamentally, it's not worth its price, but movement wise, that's great. So OGI up 8% here. Nokia up 8%. Tattooed Chef 2.92%. Nice move there on Tattooed Chef. At the open here, Marin just gave up. What happened to Marin? Yeah, Marin's giving up. Marin was up like 10 or 11%. Aurora Cannabis 2%. Canopy Growth 1.1%. Here's Goldman Sachs giving up a little bit. Was up 1.5%. Whoa, here goes Tesla. Look at Tesla. Woo! Tesla. Very nice. Hugo Boss. Hugo Boss. I don't know what to see here at Hugo Boss. Day chart. Done well. Look at that since November. Wow. Done very well since November. Gee whiz. During the pandemic, they went to $4. Oh my gosh. Wow. Very nice recovery. This is a Hugo Boss jacket. Very, very cool. Yo, Tesla now up 1%. Trade Desk now up 1%. Churchill Capital 0.74. Is the market just like all of a sudden trying to rally again? Let's look at S&P. Yeah, it's only down 0.15%. It's trying to get out of the hole again. Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. The CPI data, came and went. It was much higher than expected, and the market's actually not doing very badly right now, very poorly. It's recovering. Let me look at Cardano here for a moment. Yeah, we hit our bottom, slight recovery, pretty much still flat. Seeing that at Ethereum as well, hit our bottom. ChargePoint's getting wrecked right now. Not sure why. ChargePoint down 6.52%. I'm going to take a peek to see what's going on at CHPT. Let's find out. All right, let's see here. CHPT. Give me 1 second. It's not the fastest platform here. Why are growth stocks up on sky-high inflation? Shouldn't they devalue inflation? Well, yeah, that's the bizarre thing about the market right now. The market's seeing through this inflation. I think they're raising money. Yeah, ChargePoint Holdings proposed a secondary offering of 12 million shares. There you go. It's a share offering. Well, I mean, it's smart for them. Raise money, they can invest more. AMC just gave up. Entirely gave up its run there. So here comes a new dip for you. Yeah, take a peek at this here. To create chaos, then to fix it, allows one to be the judge, jury, arbiter, perpetrator, and savior, creating artificial sustainability for unilateral control and self-preservation. Ruben, I feel like you're saying that about the Fed. Yeah. Used cars is obviously transitory. Market is seeing through this. I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah. Why is JPM red now? Yeah, banks are sensitive to inflation. Inflation numbers came in much higher than expected, but again, very transitory categories. Categorically transitory. The core sets within the inflation reading that exclude those things like used cars and airline travel and some of the temporary things are not up that high. And so it's driving the average up. So I think the market is seeing through that because of this. Is Enphase down? Banks always go down after earnings. Yeah, no kidding. Enphase. Yeah, Enphase is down. That is interesting. Enphase does also get affected by chip shortage pretty dramatically. They need more chips. They're holding back innovation because of a lack of chips, which is very bad. Very bad. Workhorse down almost a full 4%. Virgin Galactic down 3.55. Sens 2.85. We have Redfin 2.43, GameStop 251 as well. Seeing that momentum move down. Arcimoto 251, Hut 8 Mining, Desktop, Metals, Lemonade 1.84, Invite, Enphase, EXPI. Yeah, I mean, you got a whole chunk of stocks here that are down. DocuSign, Etsy, Pinterest, Palantir. I mean, all of these down about 1%. AMD. So you are getting some hit from inflation. But certainly seeing some companies move to the upside here, especially vehicles. Well, where'd it go? Where'd Tesla go? Thought it was somewhere over here. Oh, that's not Tesla. Here we go. Oh my gosh, Tesla just went negative. What a U-turn. What a bizarro U-turn. That is so weird. This is a very weird market. So Tesla literally rallied over 1%. And now it's down 0.5%. Odd. Woo. Let me look at the 10-year quickly. I'll pull this up for us. 1 sec. All right, 10-year. Let's see how it's responding. Oh my gosh, that is very unexpected. This is so weird. Look at this screenshot here, the Bloomberg 10-year. That is so weird. It's just you got your spike and it's completely gone now. It's completely gone. That is just weird. Very, 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 very weird. All right, let's see what we got to go over here.
You really expect everybody to keep up with you on that?
Yeah.
Let's get back to Simon Property for a second, because that is a move. That stock
Malls.
more than doubled over the last year. Obviously,
David told you.
People were very concerned
Sternlicht
about
too,
the future of the mall, even prior to the pandemic, not to mention during it. The question as to whether people would ever return. But the A malls have hung in there, I guess, to your point, and there's a lot of money out there that's potentially.
Here's Sundial, by the way, starting to rip, running back to 0.929, which is where we have a support line drawn for it. Oh, look at it bounce off of that line. That's insane. It literally just bounced off of our line in front of our face. It's crazy.
An acquisition after.
It's because the lines work. Learn more. The Stocks and Psychology of Money group, which now includes TA and options. Some sections still in development, but you can still get the 40% off coupon code. Link down below.
That is, David, that is, you have to do mouth to mouth on that. I know mouth to mouth's no longer.
Oh, okay, Jim. All right. We're going to just pull off that for a moment. Matterport up 1.72. Sundial doing well here. OGI up now 13%. Here we go. Marin comes back at 15%. Here we go. Now Marin's running in. That is so bizarre. Just a very uncertain day. The market's very confused in terms of what to do. Very interesting. Ubiquity up over 300. Although I think yesterday it closed at about 3, at roughly right at 300, but it's now over. AMC falling more, 6.5% to the downside. Clover Health down 5.5. ChargePoint 837. Roblox 2.74. GameStop 2.36. Lemonade 2.11. These all to the downside. Redfin. Redfin was green this morning. This is Etsy. Hold on. Here's Redfin. Yeah, Redfin was literally up like 2% during the pre-market. Look at that. Redfin was all of a sudden up. Gone. And it's gone. All right. Schumer releasing marijuana bill tomorrow. Aha. I don't know anything about Zoe, so I can't really tell you anything, especially since you're spamming it like crazy. Rising taxes makes, and yeah. Let's look at interesting inflation numbers on vehicles, and Hertz is down. Yeah, well, I think the market knows this is temporary. Tesla down 0.69 right now. INND. I don't know what that is. It's an OTC here. I don't know anything about that. All right, let's keep looking around. Let's get a little bit more coverage here.
In the cafe, it was a Woodstock.
Yes, it was
Very much so.
Arc. Yeah.
Geez, they missed the
Stock,
cue.
they missed it.
They missed the cue. Woodstock.
Missed it. And they missed back
Wow,
too.
that was a silver platter.
I know.
Can you arrange us for us to have a soundboard where we get to trigger
why
our own
can't we?
graphics from here?
That was a silver.
Can that
was
happen?
a blue plate
Okay.
special. I brought them the head of Alfredo Garcia.
Oh my
You
gosh!
mentioned
Come on,
AMP.
folks.
Never would see those over $10 a pound. You know, they're
They had somebody run to the B file because you're seeing inflation.
because we're seeing a relief in the meat prices right now. Lobster's really high also. So that's driving some of these numbers up. But we've kept the same on milk, eggs, butter, all the staples. We've kept the same price.
Yeah, Stuart, you were telling me that you were absorbing the prices as much as possible to protect your consumers from this, but you are also stockpiling certain goods like some wines and cheeses. Why are you stockpiling those items?
Well, things we're getting from Europe, we're trying to get ahead of the curve. Like we want to get as many lobster tails as we can right now and put them in the freezer. Customers love that during the summer. So we are seeing things, cheeses, wine. We want to get them in-house. Our warehouses are loaded right now.
And what is
Wow.
your biggest tip to your customers right
I like how it says Inflation Nation. Oh, they just moved it. There it is.
On sale. Everybody has sales going on all the time. Get those items, bring them home and freeze them, and you won't even feel any price increases in your pocketbook.
Well, Stuart, thank you.
Well, if everybody does that, you will.
I can tell you a lot of eyes on grocery prices right now. A recent Fox poll shows that 7 out of 10 Fox people polled by Fox say that this is causing a financial hardship. So we really appreciate the insight from Stu
And
Leonard
also
here.
all our Italian suppliers are telling me how happy they are. They won the game over there. I'm sorry England didn't make it.
He had to get that in, didn't
Thank
he? He
you
had
so
to
much.
get that in. By the way, that Stu
Yeah.
Leonard's was the first supermarket in America that I actually went into when I first arrived here 48 years ago. Stu Leonard's in Westport,
how about
Connecticut. It blew me away, and that's a fact. But thank him for me, please, Lydia. He's a good man.
What a plug. Jeez.
Kudlow is with us, listening to my stories about my early days in America.
Hey, look, it's Mr. V-shaped recovery.
Inflation, 5.4% at the consumer level over the past year. The Fed says it's transitory, that it's going to go away soon. I don't believe that. Do you?
Nope.
Well, to be honest with you, Stu, I'm inclined to believe it, but I'm not sure. Okay. How's that for a
Wow.
complete
Oh, man.
hedge?
You should be a diplomat.
Because I think, no, in all seriousness, though, what interests me is the market price indicators. So markets are smart. They have all the available information. They're not showing the inflation concern or panic that a lot of people are, a lot of analysts are. I mean, in the treasury market, the inflation protected market, the tips market, the break evens are running a little under 2.5%, which is an increase, no question. They were 2% or less. So there's a slight rise there over, let's say, the next 5 years forecast. But it's a small increase. The bond market itself, the 10-year is, trading under $1.50, under 1.5%. No big problem there. The dollar exchange rate itself, inflation would wreck the dollar, or a crashing dollar would cause inflation. The dollar's been steady as a rock, king dollar. So I don't know, gold prices also have been fluctuating in a narrow range. So I see the data and I know it's happening. A lot of this is one-off. A lot of this is a faster recovery, which goes back to the vaccinations and so forth that nobody believed. It goes back to Trump's Operation Warp Speed, if you ask me. Sure. So I'm just, most of my conservative friends disagree and they're worried about long-term inflation. I'm just not quite there yet, Stu.
Okay, let me explain.
By the way, he mentioned 10-year break even. This is what that chart looks like. This is where they take the 10-year treasury and they divide with tips. But you could see inflation expectations really going up since the last summer. This is generally seen as a better inflation gauge versus the 10-year. I just like to use the 10-year. I'm used to it. But anyway, so you've seen this go straight up through about May. And since May, it's been falling. And even right now, it's not really peaking on the 10-year break even.
Well, look, one definition of inflation, it's important, is too much money chasing.
Thank you for the shout out to my Fox interview. Appreciate that.
The Fed is a weird story right now because the Fed is buying 120 billion of assets every month. mostly
Right.
treasuries, but some mortgage backs. They shouldn't be buying mortgage-backed bonds at all, in my judgment. That's $40 billion a month. So they're buying $120 billion a month, and that injects money. Yes, you're right. It's too much money. On the other hand, what's strange is the Fed knows it's too much money because they're taking out almost $800 billion per day with these so-called reverse repurchase agreements, where they're literally taking cash out. Now, that's a day-to-day thing, but it accumulates. So it's like they're offsetting. They're putting in permanent reserves, and then they're mitigating it by taking out temporary reserves. That tells me that they have a guilt comp.
Wow, Linda, send us an email, staff@meetkevin.com. That sounds awesome. And thank you. Yeah, aqueduct. We got it. We got to solve the water crisis in California. It's ridiculous, and it can be done.
Fed. That is a function of the Biden administration basically stopping production of new oil and gas, particularly oil. You know, they cut back. They ended the Keystone Pipeline. They've ended ANWR in Alaska.
All right, I'm going to pull off Kudlow for a moment. He's pontificating at the moment, and we are going to instead look at AMC coming back. Look at that bump back to the support, back to a support line here, trying to get back over that that 41 level. How does this mean other things are doing? Charge point down 7.52, not as bad as it was. Tesla down 0.5%, also slightly better than it was. Virgin Galactic down another 6.29%. Marathon 3.3. AMC's only down 2.9 at the moment. Lemonade's down 2.5. Etsy's down 2%. Wow. GameStop 1.53. That's not as bad as what we had. Bitcoin recovering slightly at 32.4, up a couple $100 from its recent bottom. Tattooed Chef up 3.4%. Build-A-Bear up 4.35%. Very Good Food, 1.4. Apple, 0.89. Matterport up 0.69. Starbucks is up a third. All right, let's take a peek at CNBC.
Financial advisor
Or not.
that has helped us be successful.
And then we'll build our plans around that. If we happen to get surprised with inflation lowering itself more quickly, that's great. We'll adjust to that. But right now, I'm assuming it's going to be with us through the better part of next year.
We've heard some talk about sharpening cost management initiatives, Hugh. Does that mean cost cuts, or can you pass on a lot of this to the end consumer?
It's going to be both. I mean, as a company, we have a history of driving costs down. We announced this morning we're extending our productivity program through 2026 at north of $1 billion a year. And we've been taking out $1 billion a year plus since 2012. So we're always looking to run the company as efficiently as we possibly can because we don't want to waste dollars in any direction. That said, when input costs increase, we're also going to take some pricing. We do it every year, and we'll do it again as we get to the fall of this year.
Hugh, my colleague Kelly Lyons went through the revenue mix of the company at the moment, where you're seeing growth and where we're seeing a bit of contraction as well. As we see the increased mobility in a place like North America here in the United States, how is that increased mobility translating into the change in the revenue mix over at PepsiCo, Hugh?
I don't know about you, but I'm getting anxiety looking at that ticker chart on the left because they're doing it second by second or tick by tick. Blech.
And also convenience stores. Mobility clearly drives those channels. At the same time, what we refer to as the take-home channels are actually still growing as well. So we're seeing good benefit across the board. The reason for that primarily is we made a decision last year that despite the pandemic, we were going to continue to invest in growth capacity. We were going to continue to invest in our brands. And as a result, now as consumers have come back, we're there ready to capture that business, and we're gaining market share as a result.
You and I talked about how sticky some.
All right, we're gonna pull off this. Kevin, did you predict a crash in September? No. I think if we have an S&P rollover of like a 20% decline, I think there's like a 15 to 20% chance of that happening. I actually think that inflation is going to start coming in a lot lower than expected September to October readings, and that's going to lead to a market that actually does better than expected. We'll see, because we don't want to see the markets overheating, right? All right. Let's see if anything else has changed. Big digital assets down at $1.02. Still haven't bought. Still waiting for really to be under $1. A buck or under. I was a buck a couple days ago, and I just kind of looked at it. I don't know. Oh well. All right. Amazon up 0.5%. Alphabet's up a bit. Matterport up 0.4%. Very good food company. Anyway, yeah, no, nothing here has really changed much. Bitcoin's still recovering slightly from that bottom. Tesla down almost a full 1% at the moment at Tesla. While at the same time, we've got AMC down 3.6%, just below its support. Yo, sitting down 1%. All right, what do we got over here? Okay, TV commercial. Lots of TV commercials. All right. Run for governor in Illinois. Well, I'd love to. I'd love, there's so many wonderful states. Yeah, okay. So use that 40% off coupon code link down below. Meet me in Bakersfield this weekend. If you live in Ventura County, send me a DM on Instagram or Twitter. I'm doing a little brief meetup at 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. today for SIGs. So if you live in Ventura, you have to be registered to vote in Ventura County. So that's at 9 or 12. Otherwise, sign up for the Bakersfield rally if you're around. It's on meetkevin.com is where you can sign up. Use that 40% off coupon code link down below for the programs. And folks, I'm going to head on over to the course member live stream, private course member live stream. We'll see you all in the next one. Thank you very much for being here, folks. And thank you to those of you who shouted out the Fox interview from yesterday. Appreciate it. Bye, everyone.